Hey guys, what's going on? Time for another YouTube video. Today we're going to be doing a video rounding up Shimano's top freshwater spinning reels. But before I get into this, do me a favor, click subscribe down below. And if you can, hit the get notifications bell. That'll make sure we do a video, it gets into your feed. So let's go through the current offerings for Shimano's freshwater spinning to better help you understand what's available to you and what the differences are. And this is going to be a quick rundown. We're going to go through them and we're going to start at the $99 price point range. So we're going to start with Nasci. Nasci has been redesigned, I believe, 2 years ago, but the big thing about Nasci, $99 price point range, and it still has Shimano's Hagane cold forged gear. That Hagane gear is what drives Shimano reels from Sedona up, I believe, are all cold forged aluminum drive gears. What changes with that gear is the tooth pattern, whether it's a Micro Module 2 or it's the latest Infinity Cross tooth pattern. As you go up in model price range, you get a better tooth pattern, but essentially the root and strength of that reel lies in that cold forged Hagane gear for 99 bucks. You get the G-free body and stuff like that, but what you don't get that you get in higher end reels with a Nasci is you don't get that one-piece bail arm either. Now, the Nasci is available in a 500, 1000, 2500, C3000, 4000, and C5000 size. But for this purpose, as we go across these models, we're going to concentrate on the 2500 size. So when you talk about the Nasci 2500, it has a max drag of 20 pounds, but so does every other 2500 size reels. Shimano's drag pressures are standardized in freshwater spinning. 1000 or sometimes 500s have 7 pounds of drag, 2500s and C3000s have 20 pounds of drag, and the 4000s and C5000s come with 24 pounds of drag. Doesn't matter if you're talking Stella or Nasci. Those are the drag pressures. The differences lie in the materials in those drag washers. Now for the Nasci, they're going to use Shimano's standard felt drag washer. As you go up higher in the classes, sometimes in the sizes, you might switch to cross carbon drag washers. And in the case of some of the reels from Stradic FM and up, you're going to be switching to a Duracross drag on the newer releases. But the essential part of the drag are they're going to work the same way. It all becomes about wear and tear. Felt wears the quickest but is the smoothest starting drag washer. Cross carbon is the most durable drag washer, but it has a little bit of a harder startup time. And then you've got the newest one, which is the Duracross drag, which is supposed to incorporate the smoothness of felt with the durability of cross carbon. When you talk about the weight of the Nasci, it weighs in at, I believe, 8.2 or 8.5, ounces. And 8.5 ounces is a great place to start for this reel. The spool capacities on all these 2500s are pretty much identical. We're talking with 150 yards of 10-pound Power Pro or 140 yards of 8-pound test mono or fluoro. Line retrieve, it's going to be between 34 and 36 inches of line per handle turn. So we're going to say 35 inches of line per handle turn. Basically the equivalent of an 8-to-1 gear ratio bait caster. So all these reels kind of are the same. The last thing you're going to notice a difference in when it comes to Nasci would be the ball bearings. Now the ball bearings themselves are not SARB shielded anti-rust, they are ARB, anti-rust bearings, and there's 5+1. The next reel up the list, and that comes in at $139.99, I believe that is the MSRP, would be the Miravel. Now Miravel was introduced a couple of years ago. It is the lowest price point Magnum Light reel in Shimano's lineup. This one is a twin to the Nasci technology-wise with a couple of major exceptions here. One would be it has a Magnum Light rotor, which means lower startup inertia, faster stopping. It also has a CI4 body. This is very evident when you look at the weights between the two. 8.5 ounces on the Nasci, like I mentioned, 7.2 ounces on the Miravel. Everything else is pretty much the same. That is the great thing. Shimano keeps things relatively easy, and this is a company that always uses trickle-down technology to drive things. All of these technologies, most of them started in the Stella lineup and then trickled themselves down the list over the course of years and years. So those are your first two, 99 and 139. Another thing that comes technology-wise with both Miravel and Nasci would be X-Ship. X-Ship is a double bearing supported pinion gear that gives you more winding torque under load. It's also got silent drive technology, and silent drive is really where they've taken the internal tolerances of the reels and the gears and they've made them tighter so that you get less whirring sound, better contact between the gears. The G-free body is where they take the weight of the gears and move them closer to the handle or the upper side of the body of the reel, and that gives you better balance over the course of a day of using the reel. And the last one would be Core Protect. And on the big sizes, you're getting the cross-carbon drag washer. So that's an overview of the technology in a $99 and $139 price point reel. Now, we move up one more level. We go into Ultegra FD. Now, Ultegra FD is the first really big jump in technology that you're going to see. And I believe it's around that $159 to $179. I believe they are. The big thing you're going to see right away is Infinity Drive. Now, Infinity Drive comes down from Stella. Infinity Drive is where they've taken the spool shaft and run it through the pinion gear rather than being supported by it. It also has X-ship, so that double bearing supported pinion gear. So therefore, you're getting a lot more winding torque under load, a lot more smoothness. With this, you still have the cold forged Hagane gear, but you get the Micro 2 module tooth pattern. All of the standard features that I talked about in both Miravel and Nasci are in this reel. And then there's other ones. It's got improved water resistance. So it's got X-Protect. That's a labyrinth system, channeling water system that stops water from getting in vital areas. It's also got the long stroke spool. The spool is 10% taller than the previous generation, helping with line management. So between the anti-twist fin and the long stroke spool, you get a better lay of line. The line changes directions less often when you're casting. It's supposed to improve your casting distance. Then you also jump to SARB bearings. So now you've got shielded anti-rust bearings and you've got water protection with X-Protect, making this reel, in my opinion, one of the perfect crossover reels between inshore fishing and freshwater fishing. And the last would be the tooth pattern that they're using on this Micro Module 2. It is the newest Infinity Cross tooth pattern. Same gear they're putting in Stella, same gear in Stradic FM, same gear in Vanford, same gear in the new Twin Power. So that is a great thing. So this reel here, in my opinion, is bang for the buck, technology driven. It is a phenomenal redesign for 2025. All of the reels I'm talking about that are current, the closer they are to today of being redesigned or re-released, they're going to have more of that technology naturally. Now, the next reel in the lineup would be Stradic FM. And Stradic FM is the tried and true Shimano reel, spinning reel, in my opinion. For this point and purposes, these are $200 or $199 US to $229 US reels, I believe. And you're getting a whack of technology. This was released, I believe, a year ago or so, 2 years ago, I believe it was. And it came out with all the stuff from Stella FK. A lot of it came down into this reel. So Infinity Drive, like we just saw added to Ultegra, Infinity Cross gear, the anti-twist fin, the long stroke spool, all of these things, the Duracross drag washers are also included in Stradic FM. So as you see, as your price goes up, you start to get more and more features, more and more tech. When we talk about the stats of this reel, we mentioned the fact that yes, all the reels have 20 pounds of drag at a 2500 size. This is available in a number of sizes, 1,000, 2,500, C3000, 4,000, and C5000, like Ultegra. And the only other difference I would say would be the weight factor. The weight of this one is a little heavier than Ultegra, but again, lighter than Nasci, and we're talking core solid aluminum body, 7.8 ounces. Now, when you talk about the bearing count in this, you get an additional bearing when you move up to Stradic as well, 6+1 SARB shielded anti-rust bearings. And if I'm going to look over if there's any other technology I'm missing, but that is the root of what you get with Stradic. It is a high-performing reel at a great value. It's going to last a long time. Now, moving one step further up the board, we move over to Vanford. Now, Vanford was just re-released, I believe, a year ago, and it got all of this technologies that Stradic FM got 2 years ago. Two exceptions here. The first one being the body itself is made of CI4+, so that's reinforced carbon fiber. The other part of this would be the rotor. The rotor is an MGL rotor, so Magnum Light rotor, low startup inertia, fast stop, and these two reels are twins otherwise. If you take the two, they spec out the same with the exception of the weight. When you go over to Vanford, you significantly save on weight, but you're also getting lighter materials in it. And I consider the two to be different because Shimano has two lineups of spinning reels. If you line them up, some fall into the core solid lineup like Stradic, some fall into the Magnum Light lineup. Next on the list would be the Sustain FJ. Now the Sustain FJ retails at around $319.99 up to $329.99. Again, this is a reel that has a lot of technology, but in the list of what I've been reading off, Ultegra FD has been redesigned, Stradic FM has been redesigned, Vanford FA has been redesigned, Stella has been redesigned, Twin Power has been redesigned. So in the world of technologies, I would say Sustain is probably lacking a bit because it does not have infinity drive. That is the one technology. So no anti-twist fin, no infinity drive, but still has a lot of the great things. Cold forged Hagane gear, micromodule tooth pattern, X-ship, the double bearing supported pinion gear, Hagane body, the metal body on that thing. So cross carbon drag washers, CI4 plus side plates, long stroke spool. The list goes on and on and on. One piece bail arm, propulsion line management system. All of these things are in this reel. It's a great reel. I just feel like it's not quite up to spec. And based on what we're seeing in the evolution, I would say it's probably going to be one of the next ones to get redone. So going up from the Sustain, we're going to move over to Twin Power FE. Now, Twin Power FE is made in Japan, $449.99 to around the $469.99 mark. This reel was redesigned, I believe, a couple years ago, and it is it was redesigned last year, and it is a phenomenal redesign. A lot of that Stella FK technology directly trickled down into this reel. You spin a Twin Power, you know it's a Twin Power. So all that stuff, infinity drive, the infinity cross gear, the Duracross drag washers, the one-piece bail arm, the Hagane body, the Hagane gear, that cold forged aluminum drive gear with the most infinity cross, the most recent tooth pattern. All of that stuff is in this reel. When we start talking about other things like Duracross drag washers, rapid fire drag, all of those, they are also in this reel. So every technology that I've spoken about before, plus a couple extras, and then you start getting into the bearing count of this reel. So this reel is available now in a 2,500 through 5,000 size. It used to, in the previous generation, be available in the 1,000 size. I guess the demand was not there. So they have made a decision to bring to the North American market the 2,500, C3000, 4,000, and C5000 size. This reel kicks out the same drag pressures, has the same line capacities. The weight of a 2,500 is only 7.4 ounces. So despite having more bearings than a Stradic, the materials they're using in this reel is letting it be lighter. Talking about the bearings, you're talking 9+1 versus 6+1 in a Stradic. So 9+1 shielded anti-rust bearings. This reel, made in Japan, is a really, really good performing reel. And it has a counterpart that falls into the Magnum Light lineup. Twin Power FD is core solid. Its counterpart would be Twin Power XD. Now, Twin Power XD is designed for inshore, nearshore freshwater applications. It's only available in a few sizes. Let me just go through the list here for you. So it's available from a 3,000 to 5,000 size, this reel. But the big thing about this reel would be the fact that it's got the MGL rotor. So, all the good stuff we've talked about, X-Protect, the Labyrinth system, X-Ship, micromodule 2-gear pattern, we're talking Infinity Cross, Duracross drag washers, Infinity Drive, all of that is jacked into this latest one. This reel was just released in January of this year, so it got the most recent upgrades. The one thing they added to this reel is the rigid support drag, and that rigid support drag is support underneath for hard pulling fish like snook and redfish, those inshore saltwater fish or big freshwater fish. This reel here retails at $469.99 up to $499.99, and it has got a ton of great features. For bearings, you also go one up over the Twin Power FD. You have 10+1. The amazing part about this reel is it's only 7.1 ounces. So this reel, in my opinion, is the toughest Magnum Light reel in the lineup. It is the lightest, but it is the toughest. It is designed to take punishment. The next reel in the line is going to be Exsence. Now, Exsence has not been redesigned in a few years now. So you're missing some of the core technologies that I've been talking about, like with Twin Power XD, Stradic, Vanford, and Ultegra. You're not getting that infinity drive. You're not getting the anti-twist fin. You're not getting the infinity cross gear pattern, and you're not getting the Duracross drag washers. But you are still getting a ton of, rigid support drag, Hagane gear, X-ship, the latest micromodule 2 tooth pattern, MGL rotor, which is a big thing with this reel, is the fact that it's all about lightweight and power. Magnesium frame, Magnum Light rotor. The weight of this reel, This reel is only available in 2 sizes, a 3,000 and a 4,000 size. The weight of this reel comes in at 6.3 ounces for a 3,000. So it is the lightest 3,000 reel in our lineup right now, for North America, that is. The other thing is you go up in bearing count again. So SARB shielded anti-rust bearings, you go to 11 plus 1 in the Exsence as well. Again, price point, $599.99 to $609.99 is the current MSRP. This is a reel, again, like Sustain. I suspect this one's probably on the list of reels that they're going to be looking to redo in the near future. All right, last but not least, the king of the hill, the reel that drives everything, Stella. Stella FK is the most recent version. This is a Best of Show winner from 3 years ago. First time in freshwater, we saw Infinity Drive, the anti-twist fin, the Duracross drag washers, the Infinity Cross gear. This reel was touted and marketed as Infinity Evolution. These were the newest technologies. One thing, if you notice a pattern here, Shimano drives all the technology through the top level reel, whether it's low profile bait casting, conventional bait casting, or it is spinning on the freshwater and saltwater side, and drives that technology, trickles it down throughout the lineup. The more you pay, the more recent, newer technology you get, but you also get more of, better materials, you get better bearing counts, more bearings, stuff like that. Stella is the king of the pile when it comes to freshwater reels around the world for Shimano. 7.4 ounces for the Shimano 2500, Stella FK 2500. This reel is a core solid reel. It's the king of the core solid lineup. The other thing you'll notice about this, 12 plus 1 shielded anti-rust bearings. And then add to that everything I've talked about going down the list. This is the king of the hill, and it's priced as the king of the hill from $799 to $829.99 US dollars. When it comes to the sizes, the Stella FK is available in a 1,000, 2,500, C3000, 4,000, and C5000 size. So there you have it, guys. That's a rundown of Shimano's. I know it's a long video, but that is a breakdown currently from $99 to $800. What is available for you as a consumer? I can tell you this: all of these reels work incredibly well. They are all super dependable. They're all going to last you a long time. It depends what level of technology you want, if weight is a matter, if having an MGL over a core solid reel is going to make a difference for your fishing. The way I split it up, if you're fishing techniques that are bang and trash, dragging tubes, snap jigging, using braid to fluoro a lot, I like to go to core solid reels. If on the other side of things, you're a person who's doing a lot of finesse stuff like moping a jig, drop shotting, shaky heading, that's when those MGL reels really shine. That low startup, super fast start, super fast stop reels work incredibly well. The question is, what's comfortable for your price range? And know that no matter what you pick, you're going to get something pretty dependable from the folks at Shimano. There you have it, guys. That is a long-winded rundown of the 2025 current reels available for freshwater spinning. If you could do me a favor, click subscribe down below. That'll make sure our videos get into your feed, and hit the get notifications bell. That makes sure when we do it, you get notifications that our videos are out. I hope everybody's staying safe. I hope you guys are all having fun. Most importantly, I hope everybody is catching fish. We'll see you soon.